And so this is Christmas. A few weeks ago, a newspaper had a headline and it said Christmas cancelled, and it was when there was a feeling that people weren't going to be able to meet together at all at Christmas. And some church people got very irate about that and said, well, that's impossible to say Christmas is cancelled, because Christmas is a spiritual festival celebrating the birth of Christ. And of course, to some extent, they're right. But I reckon there's always been two Christmases. There has been that Christmas festival, which celebrates the birth of Jesus. But there's also been a sense of it being a winter family gathering when people get together and they exchange presents, and in that way they show love and care for one another. And I reckon that goes back deep into history. It was our pagan forefathers in the Northern Hemisphere who realised thousands and thousands of years ago that at this time of the year, things got as dark as they were going to get. You can see outside, it's dark, and it's not difficult recording this during a dark time at the moment. And they realised that from now on, things would begin little by little to get lighter. And so they had a party, and they got together and they feasted. And it was the wisdom of the church that said, well, we're going to use this time to bring our festival and to celebrate the birth of Jesus. So the church adopted it. And the whole theme of darkness and light is really relevant to this time. The passage in Isaiah that often gets read at the festival of readings and carols says, the people walking in darkness have seen a great light. Of those living in the land of the shadow of death, a light has dawned. And so the prophet Isaiah, years before the birth of Christ, kind of anticipated, said this day will come. There will be light that comes out of darkness. And then in John's Gospel, John doesn't talk about the nativity story. In John, there's no wise men, there's no shepherds, there's no stable. But he says this, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Nothing was made. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of men. The light shines in the darkness, but the darkness has not understood it. There came a man who was sent from God. His name was John. He came as a witness to testify to that light, so that through him all men might believe. He himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to the light. The true light that gives light to every man was coming into the world. So John's Gospel starts that way, and he says, look, this is what I'm now going to talk about, this light that came into the world. So this year, things are different. Families can't meet in the same way that they've been able to do in the past. Meeting of people is limited. Churches can't meet in the same way that they've been able to do. There won't be lots of public carol services and things like that. So for both those Christmases, that sense of the family winter festival and the celebration of the birth of Christ, things will be different. But things are going to get lighter. If I sit out here at this time in a couple of months' time, it will be light. Now it's dark. And I think there's a real hope, whether for us it's the, if you like, the pagan family Christmas or the Christian festival, that light is coming. With the vaccine that is beginning to be administered, a way through, light is coming. And so I just want to bring that encouragement to all of us today. And as those of us that are Christians think of the birth of Christ, let's think of the fact that light has come into the world. And for all of us, may we know a sense of greater light. Have a good week.